All right, what is up, internet? This is Kiz McWizFizz, also known as Kiz for short, but you could also call me Kyle. That's totally cool. So yeah, today this is our first ever live stream of designing a shoe. So if you don't know anything about me, I am a footwear designer by trade. I am not working for anyone right now, but my goal is to start my own brand, and so I pitch and on YouTube and to just kind of show how the process works, kind of show how my creative juices kind of run, kind of flow, and honestly, it's such a cool process. Designing shoes is so cool. I think it's kind of one of those things that, you know, everyone kind of forgets about, and I'm just really excited to kind of show kind of how thing. Let's kind of just dive right in. So right now, right here, I got Procreate open on my iPad here. We're just going to use this. We're going to take a shoe we're just going to come up with an idea today, and we're going to take it all the way through to a full render. And if you don't know what a render is, stick around, we'll talk about it, but it's basically just a very realistic drawing of a shoe. Usually there's going to be shadows. So the very first thing, the most important thing when you're designing a shoe, at least to start, is we need to know where the heck the ground is, because shoes don't just float off in midair, right? They spend 99% of their life on the ground. So we're gonna draw what's known as a ground plane. It's really simple. It's a line, right? But we're gonna draw this line. This is gonna be super duper important for us, because this is where we're able to start building from the ground up our shoe. Okay, so we're gonna add a layer here. We're gonna keep this first layer. That's our ground plane. One of the reasons why I love Procreate is because it gives you all of the benefits of drawing with pencil and paper, but with a lot of the cool, really helpful things with the digital. And there's tons of other reasons why we like Procreate. We'll talk about those later, okay? So right now what I'm gonna do here is give myself a little room, and I'm just gonna kind of start sketching in some shape here, okay? So right now I'm just using, I think it's a 6B pencil. Yes. Oh, HB pencil. Okay. One of the brushes that we have here on Procreate, which is awesome. We're just gonna kind of sketch in pretty light. And we'll just silhouette. Just a nice running shoe. Nothing too crazy. We're just gonna kind of take it and see where it goes. All right. So we got a little bit of a toe spring here. If you notice, I'm not really worried about erasing, not really worried about having one perfect line. I'm just kind of trying to sketch in to see kind of what the shape is going to look like here. Now I'm working back towards the heel. A little darker. That's a little too much. Let's just keep it nice and light here. For now, as we're just trying to get a shape, trying to just see what kind of shape we have here. So we got a little bit of a heel. We're gonna kind of draw in a little bit of a midsole. So if you notice, I'm not really using any sort of a template. I'm not really using anything that I'm tracing, but that is a totally valid way to kind of start your sketches is, using, like, if you're just using pencil and paper, using a light box, right? I have a light box here, actually. So you plug this in, right? You put your whatever shoe you're kind of using as a silhouette, you put it underneath, and then you put the paper on top, and you just kind of use it to sketch, and you can see through it. It's one of the best tools that you can have, and hopefully one day we'll be able to just do some pencil and paper sketches as well. But for right now, I'm just going based off of, I'm just sketching. And as you're starting out, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do it this way. I would start with, in fact, let me pull one up. No, well, we won't worry about that. But I would start with some sort of a guide, right? Like a picture of a shoe that you really like. Like in this case, we could use like an Ultra Boost would be a really good basic running shoe. But just something to help you get the proportions right, help you kind of get the shape. And then once you get kind of those basics, then you can start to be a little more creative. But since I've done this so much, I'm just kind of going with what I kind of know, and just kind of screwing around with it a little bit. So here we go. Okay, let's see here. I'm just trying to make sure this shape is, there we go, something, right? And again, it doesn't have to be perfect to start. In fact, it really shouldn't be perfect, right? We're sketching here. We're gonna be making mistakes, using our eraser probably as much as our pencil, and that is okay, right? So let's see. So now we're just coming in, getting the forefoot here, and again, I'm just trying to get a shape, a good shape here. All right. Kind of draw it in a little better. So there's some good creators out there. One of my favorites, I can't remember his name, but he would always say, sketch light till it's right. And with Procreate, you don't need to be starting. It's the cheapest, it's the easiest. Don't go buy, a $500 iPad or whatever just so you could get Procreate, right? You can just use a pencil and a paper and an eraser. It costs like $1 to get a notebook and like 50 cents for a pencil. Like, Dwayne Edwards started, right? To be fair, they didn't really have a choice, but yeah. So we just got a kind of a good shape here. This kind of heel thing is kind of working towards more of the shoe's structure, kind of really figuring out what we want to do here. So I'm thinking today, and this is irregular for me because I love high tops, but I think we're gonna go kind of more of a low cut running shoe today. So I'm just gonna kind of sketch in to get good angles on this, right? Kind of just pencil that in like so, right? Maybe a little more of an aggressive kind of tongue, kind of this front part of the collar here. So I'm not gonna lie, one of the things that I'm really most excited about, kind of starting this journey, because I mean this is my first ever stream. Oh my gosh, my chair is so loud. But one of the things that I'm kind of most excited about is kind of just being able to be creative and kind of get the feeling for what people kind of want. Because I don't know about you, but sneaker culture makes me sad nowadays. Just with kind of what people have been buying and what, you know, the companies are putting out and stuff. So I kind of want to show that sneakers, they can be a little more creative. They can be a little more fun. So how are we feeling about this silhouette? I kind of dig it a little bit. Yeah, it gives me, it's giving me some, just some good like Nike Pegasus vibes almost, but I think we can spice it up and make it. Now that we kind of got our shape, we're gonna start putting in more of our creates that kind of divide where the upper, right? The upper is gonna have its design and the midsole is gonna have its design, and yes, they need to be cohesive, but they also are like, they're two very, very separate components when it comes to a shoe, right? Like, they're literally manufactured sometimes in completely different factories, sometimes on completely different continents. So they are kind of distinct. And so I like to start with the midsole. I think the midsole it's the most important part of the shoe. If I'm being honest, it's the most important part. It is the part of the shoe by the material that the midsole is made out of, by how it functions, by the technology. So that's where we're gonna kind of start for our purposes here. So this is kind of low cut. So one of the beauties of Procreate, ooh, was not expecting freehand there, is we can kind of warp this, right? We can use some of these tools to, right? So I use this this tool up here, right? That's just my selection tool sort of thing. But I'm just going to select this part up here, and I'm just going to stretch it up a little bit because it's a little short, right? So I'm just going to stretch it up, and look at that. Reconnect these parts, right? And voila, right? So easy. It's better than having to go and erase the whole thing, right? Okay. So that's actually a rather aggressive kind of dip here. So we're gonna kind of shake that out a little bit. All right. So this thing right here, that looks like a very natural place, and I kind of did it on purpose a little bit. That's a very natural place for us to start our midsole on the back heel here. So So this is going to be a running shoe, right? So running shoes typically are going to have a little bit thicker outsoles or midsoles, and they're going to be, as you can see, kind of the bottom shape of the shoe right here. It's going to be very, best word, it's curved, right? It follows that natural running motion of your heel hitting the ground, right? You're going heel to toe, right? You're going to have that kind of natural kind of curvature, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen some running shoes, right? So this one, we're going to use that to our advantage here. We want typically a thicker midsole for running shoes. That's not always the case. People make running shoes for lots of different reasons, for lots of different feet, for lots of different, people have lots of different goals when they're running. And so there are obviously like minimalist shoes and trail running shoes and stuff, but this is just going to be kind of a run of the mill. Like I'm going to go for a 5-mile run this weekend, kind of every day kind of shoe here. Okay. So we're just going to kind of start sketching in a midsole here, right? So this is pretty basic, right? I always like to start pretty basic unless I really have certain components that I have in mind, but even then, you know, you got to get the shoe shape going, and you can always change stuff afterwards, right? Like this is not set, we're not carving this in stone or anything, right? This is pretty simple, right? Okay. So this looks like a really super basic running shoe. This is kind of a pretty basic, but I think so far we got a lot of good things going for us, and we're just gonna kind of go for it and kind of see where it takes us. Okay. So let's do it. Okay. So we kind of have a little bit of a midsole here. It's pretty basic. It's pretty run of the mill. But I just kind of I want to give it a little bit more of a defined shape here. Okay. So this back heel, I want it to be a little bit more aggressive. That's one of my favorite indices. Very angular or very, it seems very rough, right? They like to call it aggressive. This looks like a big mess, doesn't it? Right? And that's okay, right? We're trying to see what works and we're trying to see what doesn't, right? So just really kind of clean it up. All right. Now I'm not a huge fan of the way that kind of the top part, right? This edge right here. I'm not a huge fan of the way that's shaped. So we're just gonna kind of come in. We're gonna have a little fun with it, right? So I'm a huge fan of kind of like chunky midsoles. And since this is kind of just an everyday running shoe, typically the people who use everyday running shoes, they're gonna want some comfort. They don't want shin splints. They don't care about speed to the midsole here, right? So it's kind of like waves, right? So we're gonna kind of draw in some kind of wavy type of thing, right? That's really kind of fun. Is the design kind of evolves, right, as you keep going. Sometimes you think you're starting with one thing and then you kind of add stuff and you take stuff away, and if you don't have a super well thought out plan beforehand, and you're just kind of just going off the seat of your pants, you never know what you could want to be starting a running shoe like this, and then you get going and going and going, and all of a sudden it's a like high fashion basketball type shoe that, you know, all of a sudden you're designing a Jordan and you did not mean to. Like, it happens all the time. So as someone who just likes to sketch like that, that's great. I mean, you get lots of practice. practice, and we will on stream for sure, practice designing towards a consumer, right? A specific customer. Because if you're looking for a job in the industry, that's what they need you to do. They need you to be able to take a brief. Hey, we need a running shoe for this kind of person who runs this many miles, and this is what they're focused on, right? And this is kind of what they want. They want that ability, right? Now, if you're just trying to get into shoe design, not a huge fan of it. So we're just gonna kind of keep undoing here until we're back to kind of where we want to. Yeah. Yeah, don't be afraid to have some fun, especially as you're just getting started, right? And also don't be afraid to draw some just really crappy shoes. I've drawn well more than my fair share of crappy shoes in my life. And that's okay. My first shoe looks, it's freaking hideous. Like, it's so bad. I'm going to kind of try to erase this part because I want this like middle part to kind of be able to be almost like a focal point of the shoe. Kind of something like that, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, but we kind of have an idea here. But so we'll start working. So I always start with the midsole. If you have a great idea for a heel counter, right, which is this kind of part back here, right, this part. If you have a great idea for that, like, go for it. Okay. Ooh, I actually really like that. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna kind of go with this, and we're gonna see how it works out for us. So now I'm kind of working on a tongue idea, kind of fat tongue thing. And we'll have to come back, but I really want to get this kind of idea in here. That we have this kind of wider, bigger tongue situation. I'm thinking it's gonna be like, but kind of fat, and typically the tongue is gonna actually come underneath kind of some sort of an overlay here, right? Because the tongue is it's supposed to hold your shoe, right? You're gonna have laces like this, right? Typically that's how a shoe works, right? I'm not trying to reinvent. We'll see how it goes. We have an eraser for a reason, right? We're just trying to get a good idea of some shapes. Okay, so I'm kind of digging this, right? We're gonna clean it up, get rid of some of the stuff that we're not really looking at anymore, right? Okay. All right. So we got this kind of big, kind of fat padded tongue, right? So now we're gonna kind of start with the lace structure here. Okay. So let's see here. Maybe a little deeper. All right. So I'm thinking something like that, right? But I do want to make sure that this shape right here, right? Like this stuff right here, I really want to make sure that that is still a visual component of our shoe, okay? So whether that means that our Our lace guard here kind of has that sort of shape. We're just going to kind of go with that. Okay. So, all right. I'm going to have kind of this sort of thing, right? And we're going to try to define this a little better. So I'm going to kind of clean it up just a little bit, just so I can see what I'm doing here. All right. I'm gonna kind of round it off a little bit. I'm thinking more kind of rounded shapes here for this. Right. Don't want anything too, I want to say pointy, but too angular, right? Want to kind of keep things pretty smooth, right? Kind of just flown into one another. Kind of softer, right? So I'm going to do the same thing with my collar here, right? I don't know. I think this is kind of a mess. I think I'm gonna kind of start over, but not with the whole thing, but just some of these aspects here. Not feeling, right? Not feeling this part. Oops. Just gonna kind of okay. So yeah, you can kind of tell now looking at it, right? It was getting kind of messy because I took a lot of the stuff away, right? Especially like right here, especially, right? Not great. Not a huge. Okay, so just simmer down, right? We're gonna just kind of clean this line up, okay? We're gonna smooth it out, right? It seems very without purpose, right? So same thing is kind of going on our collar here, right? We tried to do too much. We're gonna cut it back a little bit, okay? We're gonna simplify, okay? Okay, I don't want to do that though. I do have a tendency, okay? I love high tops. I have a tendency to like, it's gonna get higher and higher and higher if I keep messing with it and I don't like shut it down. So, let's see here. We want this part, okay? So this part is the collar here, right? That's gonna be part of the collar. This part is the top. Like zoom in here so that I'm not just willy-nilly everywhere. It's sort of starting to look like a shoe, right? Up a little bit. Let's see where we're at. Let's see. I kind of want a little bit more of an lower ankle collar here, right? And then we'll talk about a heel tab, kind of in a something like this, maybe, right? Right. Not too shabby. Give it a little more shape, but this shoe's taking us. Okay. Let's see this part. All right. See, we have a few new people to the stream. Welcome. This is my first time streaming. This is not my first time drawing a shoe, although it kind of looks like it a little bit. Nope, that was a mistake. All right. All right, so kind of got something going on here. What do we think so far? Pretty good. Let's clean this guy up. Let's clean this up back here a little bit, okay? Kind of throw this tongue down a little bit, okay. So, there's a few other components that we're gonna need to look at here. Okay, so we're gonna look at the heel. Okay, we're gonna look back midsole. I am not feeling it for this shoe. I'm gonna kind of cut this down just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna give it just a little bit less aggressive, kind of chunky midsole. Okay, so we're gonna like that, but I don't like the angle. Let's kind of. We're gonna throw a heel counter on this guy. So a heel counter is the part of the shoe. My mom would always get mad at me because I would like collapse the heel, right? And so it's this structured part back here on the heel. Okay, and one of the bigger trends the last few years has been a visible heel counter. A good example would be like the old Adidas Ultra Boosts, right? One of my favorite pairs of shoes is a pair. We're talking about kind of this sort of thing, right? This is a very basic heel counter, right? But it's the thing that keeps that structure for your heel so that your shoe basically stays on your foot and you don't like kill your Achilles or anything, right? So it's literally the thing that keeps a shoe from being a flip-flop. Okay, so I'm actually thinking about kind of building it out just a little bit so that we have a little bit of a thicker heel counter. I think that might be our theme with this shoe. Is it's just everything is thick, right? We got a thick tongue, thick cozy shoe, right? Got a thick heel counter. It's kind of soft though, cushioned, right? Like some old school Asics, right? Like the Asics gel lights, like the 3s and I love the gel light 5s, right? The old Asics Tigers, like those old school running shoes. Oh man, like Ronnie Feig, like single-handedly has kept those in the public eye, and I love him for it because they're such cool shoes. Okay, so we got this kind of nice thick part upper collar here. So as the sketch is just kind of taking us that way, and that's okay, right? That's actually, to me, that's one of the funnest aspects of design, is just seeing where the pencil kind of takes you, right? So I like these kind of like, these are like teddy bear shoes, right? That might be what we're gonna call these. We're gonna call these like teddy bear shoes. I don't know, chat. What do you think about that? Teddy bear shoes. All right. All right. I'm liking it. We're going to give it kind of we're gonna give it a thicker tongue up here, okay? Just a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, okay? Ooh, there we go. That's an idea. We're gonna go burrito tongue for this. Do you guys know what a burrito tongue is? It kind of folds in on itself like a burrito, right? So let me see here. I'm gonna try here. Let's go to my computer screen for a second. Sorry, let me get it pulled up. No. Well, all the way down, right? So burrito tongue, like you'll see these a lot on the Asics Tigers, right? You'll see them a lot on right, and then you got you kind of have the laces going over like this, right? Kind of holding it together. Right, so that is what a burrito tongue looks like, and they're really super cool, and we don't use them enough, I don't think. So yeah, we might do that with this shoe here. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see from a lateral view, but yeah, we'll shoot for a burrito tongue with this kind of. Split down the middle here. We'll throw in like a second type of thing back here. Okay, so we're going burrito tongue, right? Real nice, kind of fat, cozy shoes. Okay. In fact, I'm gonna give this less aggressive type of collar. Okay. How we looking? That looks so much better. Okay. I'm feeling good about this. Guys. So there we go. Beautiful. All right, so we got kind of this heel counter in. Right? Got a heel counter in. We're just gonna look at some more stuff here. Okay. So let's talk the midfoot. Okay, so the midfoot is this third of the shoe. Right? I don't know if you can see that, right? This third of the shoe. Okay? So the main things that person who's going to be doing anything in these shoes probably ever is we're worried about stability. We're worried about anything that is going to help us keep this shoe on foot. Okay, it's not conducive for a shoe. It looks like a shoe. It's not conducive for a shoe. So we'll have to maybe have that's what you're going to see a lot here, right? Nike, Adidas, they all throw their logos there, right? Asics, right? It's a pretty important part of the shoe. Okay, so we want to make sure that whatever we are putting here, it functions properly, right? It helps stabilize that shoe, but then it also looks cool, right? It's part of what's drawing your eye to it, right? So this is kind of our teddy bear shoe, right? Actually, before we get to the midfoot, I had an idea, okay? Teddy bears have bow ties, right? Like, you ever see a teddy bear with a bow tie? So I'm going to actually kind of change the shape of this heel counter a little bit. We're going to turn it a little bit into kind of a bow tie type shape, right? So that means means it's going to start smaller from the outside. Oh, no. It's going to start smaller from the outside and get bigger, kind of like we're just going to kind of flip the shape that we had, right? So let's bring right, something like that, and then comes down like so, right? We're gonna bring the midsole up here, just so that we have kind of a natural cutoff for that. Okay, so it helps with our story, but to really make the story more cohesive for our shoe, right, whatever that kind of ends up being, is we can start to add colors and patterns to that component of the shoe, and it's really gonna stand out, and it's really gonna make the shoe. Whereas right now it looks like a cool shape, right? But when we start throwing some materials, throwing some colors on here, then it's actually gonna, something that I'm gonna be looking at. Let me get rid of this line. I'm gonna do laces wise, right? How are we gonna create a closure for the shoe, right? We already know we're doing a burrito tongue, a little more, so it's a little more in our want the laces to look like, right? I think laces can be pretty simple, right? So we could theoretically do something like this, right? Where it's just pretty simple, right? The lace guard is not anything too crazy, right? Or we could do something insane, right? We could create just like this in weird whole big shape type of thing where it's like curves and, right, it looks something ridiculous like that, right? But we're going for cozy, right? And to me, cozy shapes, right? Like you never want to like curl up on a square like couch, right? Like to me, cozy is like round, right? It's like a beanbag chair. It's we used to have this growing up. We had this big round couch. That was always super fun to curl up on. So I want to do something like this, right? I think it kind of fits with what we're going for here. Just big old rounded shapes, right? I think that's kind of more of what we're looking for, right? Kind of gives us that soft impression, right? Yeah, we feeling it? Kind of, sort of. I actually want to, let's actually bring it all the way around, right? And so for this part, this aspect of the shoe, right, I'm thinking something suede, right, maybe? Yeah, thinking something kind of suede, something with a little bit of a hand feel, right? I think that'd be really fun for this shoe. What if I just kind of tucked it up underneath here like this, like so, and then let's see, I'm just kind of thinking, I'm sketch thinking right now. Something like that. Yeah, maybe. It could be kind of, it looks a little more cohesive. Some sort of a patch type of thing, right? So like, kind of what I'm thinking is, like this would be the seam for the toe box, okay? Right here. And then this part, right, kind of overlaps it, this little aspect right here, okay? And it just kind of, something sort of like that, maybe. Right, and then we have one on the other side. Right? Let's give this guy just a tiny bit more personality. Not a lot. I mean, all he's doing is holding it together. So yeah, this lace guard here, right? prints off the Groupon, right, to go to freaking Top Golf or whatever, right? He's the one who plans everything, right? Funniest guy at the party, but he definitely is what keeps it together. That's such a bad joke. All right, so this is what we got so far. We got a lot of things that we kind of need to work on. I think we just need to we need to make our decisions a little more bold here, okay? We're going to have some crazy fun, right? This is not going to be the basic running shoe that I thought it was going to be. We're going to go freaking crazy, okay? So, I like that. Let me get a little more squared off. We're just going to be a little bit more aggressive with it, okay? Statement piece here. What do we think? Okay. So, we got that. We got our little bow tie piece back here. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I do think we need to maybe incorporate ways for us to add some color to this. All right. So we're going to add this kind of back panel and mid panel here just to give us a little bit more to do here with it. Actually, we're going to add a third panel. Okay. So we're going to add something for the that the heel's going to be a part of over here, right? I'm actually going to kind of go along this line. Okay. That looks nasty. Hold on. We're going to do something like this. I don't know. And is this shoe going to be winning any awards? Probably not. Is this shoe going to be one of Nike's next best sellers? Probably not. It's kind of a weird high concept shoe that we're doing here, but I like it. So we're just going to kind of screw around and see what we come up with. Okay. So we're going to throw some with her. She looks a little drab. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna have this part back here. I'm gonna pretend like this heel counter here and the midsole are like kind of sisters. Okay. So they're gonna look pretty similar, right? They're gonna kind of be of the same vein here. They're just gonna kind of be these weird. I think I'm gonna give it like some sort of a layer thing here. Okay, so a similar shape. This is totally going away from our teddy bear concept too, and that's okay, right? At least for today. Like I said, it's first stream. I'm trying to figure out how best to do this, right? This is kind of how sketching works in my mind anyway, and I'm just talking through it. So that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to look at kind of the way someone is, kind of how they think. And I mean, yeah, I'm a big mess right now on my tablet here, but that's okay, right? We're going to come through and clean up quite a bit of it. Oh, that's what I should do. Okay. So idea here. I think it's easier to just sketch it. We're gonna make this kind of almost like a split midsole here. Okay, you guys ready? Make your eraser bigger. Make your life easier, dude. Come on. All right. So we're gonna go. We're gonna do something like this. Okay. There we go. So we're gonna do this. Kind of almost one of my favorite all-time sneakers, Air Prestos. If you guys have ever seen them. Oh my gosh, my chair. Can you guys hear that? That's ridiculous. It has this cool midsole that kind of splits. But it doesn't split like this one does, where it's like laterally. It splits. If you're looking at it from the bottom, it like the bottom part is kind of cut. It's really cool. Let me. Maybe next time I'll have to show you. I honestly don't know how far we're gonna get on this shoe tonight, because I don't want to be streaming for more than like a couple hours, and we're already at an hour 5. So we're probably might not get through a render tonight. We might, who knows? It'll probably be like some sort of a quick thing. But we'll figure it out. This line right here, right? That might be the move here. Okay. Ooh, actually, hold on. There we go. We're solving our issues here. Okay. We're gonna. So this is a fun little piece of, but random sneaker knowledge. Part up here, right? Everything that's not kind of this, well, everything that's not like this stuff down here, right? All of this, it's called the upper, right? Plane, right to the bottom of the shoe. It's called double lasted. Because one of the processes that they have to do is they have to last the shoe and the midsole and outsole on the shoe. Then they have to take it off the last, right? And then put it on a last again to put the, at least I think that's how it works. I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, because I have most likely all the ins and outs of sneaker development. Take a couple more classes on sneaker development and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's called double lasted. So we're going to have kind of a double lasted element to this. I think that'd be kind of cool. This is turning kind of futuristic on me a little bit. Yeah, give it. We still want to keep those like big there. Okay. This is kind of crazy shoe, isn't it? It's kind of crazy. I like it though. I like it. Okay. And then for this part, we're gonna kind of chunk this midsole out a little bit and not kind of turn it into a 3-part instead of just like a 1-part type of deal. Okay. So give us that, right? Actually, let's make this part of the midsole, we'll make it a little bit bigger. Almost looks like a keystone, right? Kind of the keystone of the shoe here. All right. So I'm not feeling the big lace guard here thing anymore. Not feeling it. That's okay. It's kind of the beauty of using technology like this is it's real easy to fix your mistakes, right? Or to kind of change your mind, change the way you're looking at things. Okay. I think that looks pretty cool. It's very chunky, right? It's got lots of big aspects to it. Right? In fact, I might just shape this to be a little bit more angular, so a little bit more like a triangle, right? Right? Something kind of like that, maybe. Right? So big chunks, big kind of patches of stuff, right? We're gonna make this kind of a little more padded, right? We're gonna be adding some padding to this. Okay. So all in all, this is kind of what it looks like. I'm just gonna throw in some laces here real quick. I know my sketch looks kind of messy. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna kind of clean it up as we're getting ready to get it more towards a rendered state. But laces are gonna kind of look like something like this, right? I'm gonna throw in kind of our cross lace here, just like so. A little bit thicker laces than typical. Okay. Something like that. Pretty good. All right. I think we're in a good spot. Okay. Probably some other aspects that we could probably clean up, right? Like laces, right? Make those real clear. Being a works, right? But we want a pen outline on Procreate because it's going to allow us to make colorways really easy, right? And to color things in really easy because we'll just be able to do color fill. We can't do color fill if the lines are unbroken or if we have broken lines like we would with a pen. But they're little things, and so we'll fix them as we start going through with the pen. But so far, this is a pretty decent looking sketch. We're going to be throwing in maybe a couple more details as well as we go. So, all right. I need a new chair. Everyone. This chair sucks. It's very loud and noisy. I don't like it. Okay, so we're going to turn the opacity down a little bit on our sketch so that we can still see it, obviously, but we can then come in with a pen and kind of work through it. I like using the technical pen for most of the work, and then sometimes I'll go in with a fine tip if it's like smaller details. I kind of like to do that. So we're just doing some line work here, right? Sketch. I'm gonna do line work. Whatever. We're just gonna do some line work on this guy. So, all right. Let's have at it. Typically I like to start here on the back heel. Okay, so we're just gonna give ourselves hold down to get the shape sort of thing. I find it gives me like cleaner lines a lot of time. Perfectionist, right? Quick way, right? I really want this to look a certain way, right? But we're not going too crazy, right? I also like to use a lot of you might think this this back third of the midsole looks really angular and rigid, but if it's not very practical that way, right? Feet are kind of naturally shaped objects. They have natural curves to them. They have to be curved. They need to have softer edges. Otherwise, they're going to hit your foot weird, right? Your foot's going to strike the ground really weird. They're going to sit really weird on your ankle, right? Kind of this collar part up here, right? It's going to sit really weird on your ankle, and it's going to like dig in weird spots, right? If it's not smooth, right? We want things to be kind of practical, okay? Way more practical. So we use a lot of curves, right? Even this is probably too angular, right? We use a lot of curves, Like I promise, even looking at some of your favorite sneakers, right? They're a lot more curved than you think, right? A lot more curves than you think. So I like to use like nice straight lines, good arcs, right? I like to keep things real nice and smooth. Okay. Okay. Looking good so far, it looks. Yeah, nothing too crazy, right? Plane is on a different layer, right? We want all of these shapes to be closed, right? Because it's gonna make our coloring. It's gonna make it a lot easier. So I'm just I want to make this middle piece a little bit more aggressive, but I want to do it before we start getting into all the other stuff here. Gosh dang it. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I want to go like bear with me, folks. All right. So we're gonna move on to this last little piece of the midsole. All right. So far, so good. Okay. Not we're gonna get this guy. Okay. Like so. Then we're gonna go like that. Like so. Sure that we're getting. So we're gonna need to go like this. So we actually have a footbed. It's kind of important. Okay. So far, so good. Just kind of trying to keep things at least fairly clean. Yeah, and don't want to do anything. You don't need to do anything too crazy good or anything, right? We're just sketching a shoe, seeing what happens. It's turning very angular. Happens a lot. It's kind of part of my design style. Is I really like angular, futuristic type of shoes for this guy. I think something like okay. And then we're gonna draw a curve, something like that. Okay. This is not the shoe that I thought I was gonna be designing tonight. Let's just go for it, right? Let's just go for it. Okay. There we go. Something sort of like that, right? We'll just kind of scoop that out a little bit. Like so. There we go. You even want to... Oops. So now we went back to that kind of aggressive lace guard. I don't think it's actually called a lace guard. I need to brush up on my vocabulary, my component names. I know some of my teachers at Pencil would be very disappointed in me, but I also did 3D, so we didn't learn all this 2D stuff. We just played around in Modo for hours on end. It's great fun. Okay. Actually, this is looking pretty dope now. Pretty dope. Okay. I'm going to throw in this tongue here. Just kind of bring in the lines here a little bit. Okay. I still like fix this a little bit. Okay. Something like that, right? Yeah. You know things are getting serious when I'm bringing in the pixel-sized eraser. Things are getting serious. Okay, I think the last thing we got to do is actually, yeah, this is looking real good. I'm kind of digging it, honestly. So I'm gonna throw the laces on another layer. Okay, I'm doing this because these are gonna go over the top of a lot of the details that we have on our shoe, and it's gonna make color blocking a lot easier. Because then if you do the laces, you're gonna have to put in you're gonna have to drop in color for every tiny little thing, and it gets really annoying. So I instead will just do the laces over the top like this. Okay. Right. Oh. A little bigger. Okay. But we're just gonna throw them in just like that. Right? Just pretty, nothing too crazy, nothing difficult, really. Just like that. And again, it's probably not going to be perfect. We're just trying to get a good idea of what a shoe like this would look like, right? That's the main thing that we're trying to do. And if we want, one day we'll probably go back and we'll do a legit render, right? We'll go back in and we'll make it look as realistic as possible. But for today, we just want to see what we can do. We just want to see what something like this is going to look like, right? So that's all we're focused on today. So, all right. All right. I like it. So this is our shoe. Okay, it looks a little messy right here. It helps if I get rid of the sketch. Okay, looks a little messy on the part where with the laces, just because of that's not how it's gonna look because the laces are kind of covered right now. But I think for the most part, I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple aspects that could be a little neater here. I'm trying to just clean up some edges. This is the kind of stuff that drives me insane. But I think for the most part, I like a lot of the ideas that we have. Okay, it looks kind of futuristic, but at the same time it looks very rugged, right? Like it looks very I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. I think proportionally we're a little weird. I think we're a little wonky. So I think we're just gonna try to see if we could stretch it out just a little bit. That looks a little better. Okay, we gotta do it to the laces now too. Actually, hold on. If I remember Procreate correctly, let's try that. There we go. A little bit. It needs to look a little longer. It looked a little short. I have a tendency to do that sometimes. Yeah, I'm not a perfect footwear designer, guys. It's okay. Obviously, if I was, I'd have a job. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start throwing in some... We're going to well, I need to finish one little thing first. We're gonna start throwing in some colors. Okay. I'm gonna throw in some colors here in just a sec. All right. So the way we're gonna duplicate guy into a reference. Okay. So what that's doing is it's just saying, hey, these are the lines that we're working with here. Okay. So I'm gonna plain for obvious reasons. Okay. So we're gonna add another layer. Okay. Typically, if you're sketching on Procreate and you're doing these renders, you're gonna have like 10 or 12 layers, and that's cool, right? That's kind of what it's all about. Getting a lot of layers, getting a lot of colors down, getting a lot of shapes, lots of different stuff going on, and then just kind of seeing what happens, right? Kind of seeing how things work. So I want to start with colors, kind of get a colorway thing going on materials, because those are more, I like to use like shadows, right? Adding shadows, adding kind of depth, but then using kind of the materials to show those shadows and show that depth, so that you're getting the feel of the material, you're getting the shadows, but it looks more realistic. Okay. So there's a few different colors that I'm kind of looking at here. So I think I kind of want to start with a more darker, kind of purple blue sort of colorway. So I kind of want to get like a cool graphite looking color. Actually, I'm gonna airbrush some of this, right? Like a cool graphite looking color like that. Okay, something like that. Maybe some sort of a deeper purple, right? It's like almost like a plum type of thing. And then bring in some sort of a more, almost like an electric blue. I kind of like, right? Something like that. I think this purple might need to, be a little bit more concentrated. So our blue is going to be kind of our accents. Our purple is going to be more of our purple, and our graphite are going to be more of our main colors. Okay. So, I'm going to throw in, I'm going to leave that one there, because that one's kind of an accent piece in and of itself. And so I'm actually probably going to do blue for that. Let's see how that looks. Okay. And then for a lot of these panels, right? No. Let's do. Okay, so we got that plum color. We're going to throw that right here. Okay, right? I'm going to throw it there. We're going to throw it on the back. Okay. I'm thinking, right, something like real fun. I don't know about, let's do something more sky blue. Yeah. And then I think I'm going to play with this guy a little more here. And then maybe do, yeah, over the top. Okay. Right. Cool is that, right? Pretty quick. It's just not, and that's okay, right? That is okay. But I kind of like this colorway. I think there are textures that we're gonna add. But I think we're on the right track here. Okay. So let's go into our brush. We're gonna add another layer over top of this. Okay. So I'm gonna move my line work. Okay. We'll throw this guy down below it. Okay. So this one's gonna be our textures and shadows. Okay. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get us a good dark. So we're gonna soften it up a little bit, and we're just gonna kind of start giving us a little bit of shape, a little bit of understanding of the shadows. So I'm kind of looking at this from trying to figure out the best place for a light source here. I don't. Let's just try to give it some shape. Okay. So we're just gonna. Oh, that is dark. Like super dark. There we go. Okay, we're kind of coming in. We're just trying to give us a little bit of dimension. Okay, just a little bit of shape, a little bit for us to kind of know, at least for me, is it helps me know what is on top of stuff, and also just kind of where things are at in comparison to each other. So for this this part right here, kind of this lace guard, I've been calling it, even though I'm pretty sure that's not what it's called. Suede. I think I have said it before for this part, like this one was going to be suede for me. And so I'm going to use the suede to kind of give us some of that texture. That is very dark still. So actually something that I like to do is I like to find the color. I like to give it just a little bit darker. And I'm just gonna kind of come in. You can barely see it if you can at all. Right, I'm gonna just a little bit more. There we go. Something like that, right? And I'm just gonna come in and give it some texture. Okay. Just a little bit of texture. Happy little texture. Okay, so that way we can kind of see more of what it's gonna look like. Okay. Let's give me just a little bit more here. You can kind of see it. See a little bit of the texture there, right? It looks a little more grainy, looks a little more natural. I mean, not totally, right? But just kind of blend it a little bit, kind of smudge it up, right? Yeah, so these aren't going to be 100% like perfect or great. Like my stuff definitely does not look professional today, and that's okay. But we're making some progress here. I'm actually going to change something real quick. I am not a huge fan of the color of our midsoles. Hold on. I screwed up. Okay. I think going with a lighter gray, because I have an idea. has an idea. So this might be a shoe that we come back and revisit too. I like a lot of the things that are going on in this shoe. I'm just not 100% sold on how it looks just yet. But I like a lot of the stuff that's going on. Okay, so here was my idea. We're gonna find, let's see. Yeah, that's what I needed. We're gonna find this blue color, okay? We're gonna come in and we're gonna kind of I'm actually gonna throw this on another layer, okay? I'm gonna give us a little bit of texture, of kind of these splatters for the outsole. I think it gives it a little done, right? I can just kind of clean it up. It's the beauty of layers, man, I'm telling you. Let's see, just a little bit more on the back there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we got some cool stuff going on here. I'm gonna just throw in some more shading and some more stuff in some other places. Don't got a ton of time left. But I think we could probably get, let's see here. Though. That I kind of wanted to use for these purple parts. Oh yeah, it was the mesh one. Okay, so we're gonna use this mesh brush. We're gonna come in, we're gonna get a little color. We're actually gonna go a little lighter, so that it's a little more visible, right? So that you can kind of see. Oh, I'm doing this on the wrong layer. Oh no, I was good. Okay, so just so that we can kind of see the material, right? So it looks like the light is shining on it, right? But we also we don't lose the color, right? The color is still it's yeah, just yeah. So I'm not doing anything too crazy. I'm just gonna kind of come in here and clean it up just a smidge, right? Oh no, my eraser's too big. It up, right? Same thing here. Just clean it up a bit. 'Cause sometimes some of the problems is our brushes are a little big for the areas that we're working in, but we can't have like too small of a brush, because then the texture's wrong, right? Because if you look at here in the brushes, right? You look at this brush, right? If you increase like the size, right? Increase the scale, your texture's all off, right? So we were at what, 4? So we don't want to make the brush super small because then we don't have any texture, right? We don't want to make it too big because then the texture looks crazy, right? But that just means we got to be really careful with our layers and kind of just understanding that's kind of the dealio, okay? So let's do some shadows here. I'm gonna do a little darker, a little more muted. Okay, I'm just gonna come in with an airbrush, right? A little soft airbrush, kind of pretty transparent here. I'm just gonna try to hit the bottom of this, right? So it looks like it has some shape to it. That's not, you know, a flat piece of paper. Kind of giving it some. A little depth, right? We're gonna try to round this off just a little bit. Okay. Nothing too crazy. And again, this is just kind of quick and dirty. We wanted to see how great of a shoe we can make in a couple hours, just live on stream. I'm definitely the kind of person who is going to spend a lot of time doing some shoes on stream here. So I'm okay. I like the idea of doing shoes over multiple streams. I think that's a really fun kind of way to go about things, right? I love approaching shoes from kind of a story perspective. And I like the idea of kind of using, right? Give me something, and we'll see what we like about it, and we'll go from there, right? I think that's really fun because I love movies, I love sports, you know. I have tons of ideas for streams, you guys, and so if you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed kind of just chilling and watching me doodle some shoes, right? Let's do it. And again, this one's nothing crazy. Again, this is not nearly close to my best work, but I think we got something good here. I'd love to come revisit this shoe again at some point, but I think for now, this is pretty good. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this, and hope to see you back here soon.